Good morning, evening, or night, wherever you are. Welcome to WHAM today. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's drift through the whispers of today's world, one quiet thought at a time, as we wrap up Monday, 21st April 2025. Let's see what stories are unfolding around us. United States farmers near Grand Rapids, Mich, are anxious about potential Chinese tariffs. Heather Feuerstein worries China may buy soybeans from Brazil and Argentina instead. The ongoing tariff war has caused a Boeing jet destined for China to return to the U.S. This impacts Boeing's planned delivery timeline. Anticipating tariffs on Chinese-made tech, back market saw sales triple in a week. Meanwhile, China is expanding its 909 passenger jets presence in Southeast Asia. Vietjet, in Vietnam, will use the Comet-made aircraft, leased from Chengdu Airlines. This makes Vietnam the third Southeast Asian country to adopt the plane. China's first robot marathon saw some technological setbacks. Robots tripped, smoked, and even fell apart. The escalating tariff war with the U.S. has led to a Boeing jet, originally intended for China, returning to the U.S., impacting the plane maker's delivery schedule. Ukraine finds itself at odds with Russia as President Volodymyr Zelenskyy alleges a deceptive Easter ceasefire, accusing Russia of ongoing aggression despite claims to the contrary. Turning to the United States, Alibaba's Damo Academy has secured a significant regulatory win with its AI model, Damo Panda, designed for pancreatic cancer detection, receiving a breakthrough device designation from US authorities, potentially expediting its path to market. Separately, Harvard University faced scrutiny for allegedly prioritizing financial considerations over academic freedom, as revealed in a report detailing the institution's dealings with China and its apparent willingness to comply with US demands, even when perceived as overreaching. India's stock market saw a major upswing, with the Sensex and Nifty 50 increasing by more than 4.5%. With the Nifty surpassing 23,000, analysts recommend buying during dips. Q4 results, possible tariffs from the Trump administration, F&O expiry, and global economic indicators are key factors. The Nifty 50 could reach 24,250, 24,600, according to projections. The index has exceeded the 100-day and 200-day EMAs, indicating continued positive momentum. In other news, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is visiting India for 4 days to discuss economic, trade, and geopolitical relations. The U.S. Supreme Court has temporarily halted the Trump administration's attempt to deport Venezuelan migrants. This involved a wartime law and affected those held in immigration custody. ICE buses carrying at least 28 Venezuelan detainees were rerouted from the Bluebonnet Detention Center in Anson, Texas, before reaching an airport. The United States has seen reported progress in discussions with Iran concerning Tehran's nuclear program. Further expert-level talks have been scheduled to continue addressing the relevant issues. The ongoing trade war is reshaping investment strategies, with firms like Fidelity and Goldman Sachs increasing their holdings in Asian consumer stocks. These companies are seen as relatively insulated from trade tensions because they primarily serve local markets with essential goods. In Alaska, the trade war is spurring new economic partnerships. Asian nations are considering investing in a $42 billion energy project. The project includes a pipeline and gas processing plants. Senator Van Hollen recently visited El Salvador, focusing on promoting due process and human rights. His visit highlighted the case of Abrego Garcia, a Maryland resident allegedly wrongfully deported. Shifting focus to Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau faced renewed calls for a public inquiry into foreign interference in recent elections. Opposition parties are intensifying pressure amid concerns about the integrity of the democratic process. Meanwhile, in France, protests and strikes continue over President Emmanuel Macron's pension reforms. The controversial changes raised the retirement age, sparking widespread discontent and labor action. Moving to developments in the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is navigating challenges related to the Northern Ireland Protocol. Negotiations with the European Union aim to resolve trade and border issues that have persisted since Brexit. Turning to Germany, the government is grappling with rising inflation and energy security concerns. Chancellor Olaf Scholz is seeking solutions to mitigate the economic impact of the ongoing energy crisis. In Australia, debate continues regarding proposed changes to Indigenous recognition in the Constitution. A referendum is planned to address the issue of an Indigenous voice to Parliament. In the United States, the Federal Reserve is closely monitoring inflation data as it considers further interest rate hikes. The central bank aims to balance controlling inflation with avoiding a recession. Japan is reflecting on the 1970 Osaka World Expo, an event that encapsulated the nation's economic prosperity and widespread optimism. Furthering economic developments, Japan may implement new car safety standards as part of a trade accord with the U.S. administration. Meanwhile, in Malaysia, the demand for durian in China is soaring, with sales figures 10 times higher than last year. This surge is challenging Thailand's established dominance in the Chinese durian market. Turning to the Democratic Republic of Congo, authorities are preparing to prosecute former President Kabila on accusations of backing rebel factions. Across the Atlantic, France has voiced concerns that the removal of Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell could destabilize the U.S. dollar and the overall American economy. And that's a wrap for today's news, because even headlines need a nap. Stay curious, stay kind, and let the noise fade as you find your quiet. Take care, stay awesome, and I'll see you next time on WHAM Today.